Hey guys, welcome back. Once again, the Duelist Cup is on the way. Duelist Cup, the event for this month. I am personally loving it. I'm not the biggest fan of these specific cups. For example, the one we had last month with the water and wind. I found this very boring, and the decks you had to play there to win also extremely boring. But let me know in the comments. I'm very interested in your opinion. What is your favorite event, basically? And do you have fun in the Duelist Cup, or do you just loathe it and just want to play different formats? Because obviously this Duelist Cup format is basically the normal ranked format, you could say. Decks that are good in ranked are also good here, but we want to talk about today which decks you can take to most quickly finish the Duelist Cup, get all the rewards. And a quick little thing, a quick little tip, if you're not aware, I would recommend, if you want to be fully efficient with this Duelist Cup or with any event basically that gets you diamonds, gems, then you should definitely wait a bit before playing the event, because and if you're not aware, over the course of the event there will be missions added to the missions tab. So you cannot yet, because the Duelist Cup has just started, you cannot yet complete all the missions to get the 3,100 gems that you can get from the entire event, but they will be available for you during the event. So I think it's about 1 week or 1 week and a half in, there will be additional missions. So if you want to be fully efficient here and like save the most amount of time, then you should go ahead and just play the event when the additional missions have been unlocked. Otherwise, obviously, go ahead, play in the event, have fun. This is obviously the most important thing, and get the resources, because it's always nice to have these resources, especially for the next pack that could be a big one. If you have not seen what has been revealed so far and what my predictions are, you can check out the video in the top right corner. So let's see some decks that have already performed quite well here in the Duelist Cup. We have Dragon Link from Zoa. So obviously Dragon Link is back. He's playing 59 cards. Very strange. I would think that if you play like a 60 card version, then you would just play 60. And he is playing, and I found this very interesting, a combination of Centurion together with Dragon Link, which obviously makes sense because in Centurion you are also playing this triple Bestial Rebellion together with a lot of Bestials. I have talked about the fact in my video, the top 5 decks to reach Master 1 with this season, which if you have not seen that, go check that out. This obviously also helps you in achieving the top level in the Duelist Cup, first stage or second stage. But I have talked about why the Bestials are so good in the current meta, obviously because a lot of people are playing Telements. Once again, we can see the next two lists here having Telements in it, but also Jubel. It's nice against Jubel. A lot of people are playing Voices Voice. They have invested in the Voices Voice deck, and it's also great against this. And yeah, Dragon Link is back in town with the coming back to one of the White Dragon Vior Burster, which I think is quite nice. We have the Bestial Duelist Worm once again being at 3 before it was at 1. So Dragon Link is back, and you can definitely combine this with Centurion. But you can see right here he's playing a light Centurion starter package, the Trudea and the Primera, which is obviously because you don't want to clog up your deck with too many normal summons. There is also a calculator online. You can type in Yu-Gi-Oh! Calculator, where you can basically calculate your normal summons in comparison to your deck size. So if you have a bigger deck size, if there are more cards in your decks, you obviously can put in more normal summons, because then the chance of bricking is less. But if you have like a 40 card deck, then you don't want too many normal summon starters, because if you open, for example, in this Telements deck, let's say if you open like a Rhino Heart together with, which would be another normal summon, actually in this Telements deck there is not an additional one, but let's say you open a Rhino Heart together with a Supreme Seamer, or you could also say 2 Rhino Hearts if you want to understand the concept, then this is obviously bad. You have a clocked hand. Then again, in Telements with an additional Rhino, you can also do stuff, so it doesn't really count. But yeah, we have Dragon Link here in combination with Centurion. Very cool. If you want to invest in Centurion, I think this is very wise. This is a deck that will get support in the future. Obviously a fan favorite, the synchro deck right now, if you ask me. I'm also playing Centurion right now, and if you ask me, you also only need a Cosmic Blazer Dragon, not necessarily the Red and the Supernova Dragon, but as you can also see right here, the deck is not that cheap. You will have to invest into some ultra rares, but the support that will come for Centurion in the future, you don't need a lot of cards. There will be a very nice synchro card that you need one of, and then there will be another tuner that might be an ultra rare that you need one of. So at the worst, you will add 2 or 3 additional cards to the Centurion deck. So the biggest and the most expensive portion is now, and then it will become cheaper in the future. We have Telements deck lists here from Travis and Clemsy. A bit different here. They are running the Horus package, and the deck is basically without the Horus package and playing Revolution Synchron, which you can use to get into monsters like your Black Rose Dragon, clearing the entire board. If you have this card, just keep it, because when Temper Dragon comes out, you will also use this card. It's a very good one in Temper Dragon. If you have it, keep it. I also have it. We are playing the El Shaddoll Winder together with one El Shaddoll Beast, which I think, or not El Shaddoll Beast, Shaddoll Beast basically, what I think is a very strong one. Having the opportunity to, on your opponent's turn, just fuse into a Shaddoll Winder is very, very effective and can just stop your opponent from achieving anything. We're also playing a tuning here to fetch our Revolution Synchron, but you can decide you can play it without the Horus package, you can play it with the Horus package. I would suggest playing the other Horus guy here, the Happy. I think the Happy is better. Then again, you can also make an argument for the Duamutev, because this draws cards, right? And then you would play an additional or a bit of a different package here in the extra deck. You would obviously play a Zombie Vampire, because this is what you want to make with your Horus cards. And then you can also play, the person here isn't playing it, a Photon Galaxy Lord, but yeah, you can pick and choose the way you want to play your Telements deck. You can also play a pure Telements variant. You would still play a Kashtira Fenrir together with a Telements Kashtira, but then you would not play this Revolution Synchron here. And then you would, if you want to, still play a Shaddoll Beast, but you can also skip on this. There are multiple different ways. You can play it with Super Polymerization, without Super Polymerization. You can put in more droplets, less droplets, a few different ways that you can basically approach this deck. And very specific to tier elements, you can see we are not playing a lot of hand traps here, but we are more on the board breaker side with this deck. And then we can scroll down a bit. We have a Rescue S deck that already performed well, a Rika deck, which is quite nice, and then Mefmec, which is still a strong deck, one of my old favorites, I have to say. You can just take it and bring it to the ladder. Keep in mind though that this deck will not get a lot of support in the future. It will get support when we get the Malice stuff, but the Malice stuff is, in my opinion, quite a while off. And if when the Malice stuff comes out, a Mefmec Circular is still at 1, you can see where TTCG is at 0 and OCG is at 1, then this might be once again a very strong deck, but I think then they will also hit something here. You can also see we have a pretty pure list here. Rika with Ragnarika. We're also playing Dimension Shifter, obviously very strong, the ability to play Dimension Shifter. You could also play Fluent Reese if you want to play the Shifter, which is nice against the meta. You could also play Vanquished Soul, which I have played a few games in the Duelist Cup with. They also can play the Shifter, so that's obviously very nice. And yeah, we can see a Rescue Ace list here that you can still play together with the Snake Eyes stuff if you want to. Obviously, a pure Snake Eyes build would also be very effective, as it's still one of the strongest decks in the entire game. If you look at these deck lists here, nothing too special, nothing too fancy here. You don't need to be very fancy. The decks that perform well on the ladder, also decks that perform well in the Duelist Cup. Then again, keep in mind that some decks will take longer, and then some decks it will be faster to finish games, so this is also something that you can keep in mind. And we can scroll down even further. We can see we have a Valence list here, Voices Voice, as well as DDD. So these two are definitely not very regular decks. If you have them, you can also go ahead play them. We have the Monkey Board. I think the Monkey Board was the one that went back to 3. You can see TCG and OCG still have this at 1. If you want to play Pendulum, you can obviously go ahead and play something like the Valence deck. Obviously, if you have it, you can also play a Voiceless Voice. We can see it right here. Also, the ability to play Voiceless Voice in a few different ways. You can also play it with the Dogmatica engine if you would like to. You can also play this strange branded version, but we only have one branded fusion, so that's not that effective. Keep that in mind. And then I would honestly not really recommend this DDD variant here. We are playing a Nightmare Throne, but then we are not really playing Phantom of Jubel, so I guess the Nightmare Throne is not to make Phantom of Jubel, but because we have a level or 0 attack, 0 defense Fiends in here, for example, this is 7th Kepler one, I guess we can also use this to search here. And I think this is also a very good starter for the deck. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong here, but I'm not the biggest expert on DDD. And then we have some more stuff here. Life Sprint Ride, we have Floneries I just talked about, and obviously a Labyrinth together with Kashtira, a very crazy Labyrinth variant. Labyrinth, Kashtira, there's also Dinomorphia in here, basically using some Floodgates with the Dimensional Fisher. The Dinomorphia cards are obviously Floodgates, and then cards like the Necro Valley here. Definitely a strange deck, a crazy deck, a deck that I would not craft, because you also will have to craft all these Dinomorphia cards here, and they are very expensive. A card, and I will also make a video about this, that you can actually craft if you want to, is Ghost Dog and Snow Rabbit. If you don't have it, I think a lot of people do not have this card. This will be very, very meta relevant once Temper Dragon comes out. It's already very good against a lot of decks, but then it will be so much better. But I will make a video on this topic. And then we can see one last deck here, a Stun variant. If you like other players, then don't play this. This is just annoying, but you can also go ahead and play stun if you wanted to. So these are the decks that as of right now are very successful in the Duelist Cup. We're able to achieve the top rank in the Duelist Cup very, very fast, and you can just go ahead, copy them, or play your own variants, as I've talked about tier elements, for example, that you can basically play as you wanted to play. But let me know in the comments what you are playing in this Duelist Cup. Are you excited? What is your favorite type of event? As I already said, I'm the biggest fan of Duelist Cups. Then again, I'm not the biggest fan of events in general. I just get the gems and I'm happy with that. I would love to see an event that goes like Edison format or Gold format or some like alternative formats or older formats. But then I have talked about this in the past. I would love if Konami just gave us all the cards for the event, for example, in the Water Wind event, so that people do not have to use their crafting materials to get decks for the event. I guess some people do it, and that's why they do these events, so that people waste their gems. So if you have not heard that already, then you hear it from me now. Do not ever build a deck just for an event. I mean, in this case, you can if you just want to build, I don't know, for example, tier elements, and you will also play it on the ladder afterwards. It's okay, obviously, because it's generally a good deck, but don't build a deck for an event, guys. But I guess those of you having been here for a long time know this already. Thanks for being here, guys. We will see each other in the next one, and let me know in the comments what you are playing.